WesWes Show.
Yeah, let's jump straight into them because the boys were awesome at a core stadium. Um, an amazing ground after all the rain and everything we saw on Friday. Core Stadium apparently got that same weather. They had good conditions for the night. And man, yeah, that thanks to Taylor Swift, that field was pristine. You wouldn't have even known that it had rained that much.
Yeah, I remember the commentary team even talked about it. Like, is this the same venue? Like, is this the same venue that our poor colleagues who were commenting,
Yeah.
commentating the night before were at? You know, the Aussie crew, that is. But yeah, man, the good thing about the Warriors this year is that they haven't missed a beat. Like, they've just continued on from the momentum that they built up last year. And the one cool thing that I really like about expat Kiwis in Australia that back the Warriors is that they are turning up in droves at these opposition grounds. And so when you hear chants like
at the end of that second half, near the end of the game, when the chant was going up, I was like listening, I was like, hey, I'm like turning up my TV, I was like, hello, Warriors chant at a Rabbitohs game. I was like, come on. So man, yeah, and I guess a long time coming. Like if those were true Warriors fans, good on them, man, because they would have sat through so many bad years of us getting sussed by the Rabbits, and every year we thought we were close or good enough. Like you were saying, our margin between our good games would be like carve up the week before, face the Rabbits, and which Warriors team was this? Because and so that was always that margin that against, and that's what I said last week when I was reviewing this game. Like, depends on if the Rabbits, this is one of those games they get up for, and I think the Warriors was just a different, not that same Warriors where we have such a margin, and this Rabbitohs team is far from just a disappointing team. And I think even when you compare it to that Roosters pack, the Roosters roster, it's not impressive. Like, you kind of think as these teams stalwarts of the competition, the Roosters have kind of kept recruiting and they've always been thereabouts, and the Rabbitohs have been able to do the same, but they haven't looked after this place. Like, you can kind of see everything that's happening, and then you look around and I don't think Latrell had a bad game. Some little head explosions, but he was trying to be busy. He had a few little runs there. Just good defense, like the Warriors, the way they play a game plan and shut down exactly what they did to Ponga as well. They're real good at this. If there's an attacking player in your team, they're gonna kick early to them and get down on them so they can't do what they usually do. They did awesome against Latrell on Saturday with that.
Yeah, like Webster, he must have strategies against teams that have good kick returns players, like especially in their back three. So, which game was it? I must have been. Who we
It was
played
the
so
Sharks
far?
game, the first game, and then we had the Storm, and then we had that nice game.
Storm. It was against Storm.
Paps. Yeah, pretty much nullified a lot of Paps.
Storm have got a really good kick return, so they don't contest the kicks. They'll get up there, but they don't contest. So they let Xavier Coates or Warbrick or whoever it is just catch. So instead of jumping up to try and contest, knowing that they're going to get out jumped, and you might land funny or whatever, or give away a penalty, or you might get in a position where you're now in the ruck and you're now a man down in defence. Yeah, so they can sort of catch land, make some meters, get up for a quick play the ball, and now you've got two players who are in the ruck or involved in the tackle that aren't in the defensive line. They let the wingers jump up, catch the ball, and then they tackle
no room to
straight
move.
away. So it's now we've diffused Warbrick or Coates or whoever it was that jumped up for the kick. And that's the plan now. So now they have to, from the stationary position, we haven't allowed Coates to catch the ball and step, jinky, try and make some meters. He's just caught the ball, gets wrapped straight away by two players.
And that's the thing, because no one would have thought, and even the commentary was not sure why they're persisting with this plan. Because I guess they were just thinking, you're going to get out, Coates is going to catch it all day. It's like, yeah, we know that. And so even when he
Yeah.
eventually dropped it,
Yeah.
like I guess he probably just lost concentration. Like, why are you still kicking it to me, man? Like your plan's not working. Like this is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah.
This is the plan. You've made like
Yeah.
half of your usual
The
meters.
plan is to limit. Yeah, that's right. The plan is to limit your impact
Mm.
on those kick returns and to enable us to at least be within the 30 meters of your try line for your first carry of the ball out. But in the weekend, like against South Sydney, they're a team that I feel are going to end up in the bottom 8 this year. And
Oh,
that's my son's team,
Rabbitohs
and I keep telling him, like, sorry, Caleb. Your team's not going to make it because of all the outside noise. Like there's too much noise
yeah.
that's not league related.
Just like
All
who's
the
coming to
shit with
coach, Wayne Bennett's
Latrell,
coming back, and look at it's like all of that rubbish that's happening
you
is like
know,
it's nothing to do with your team.
it's the
Yeah,
shit that happened in the off season. Sam Burgess leaving in the off season because of he didn't name names, but we kind of all know. It's like so it's because Latrell and Cody Walker they want to do their own thing, but Sam Bridges is like, boys, we're
mm-hmm.
trying to instill standards and have a culture here of turning up to trainings on time or giving 150%. And if you watch the game in the weekend, like it was a joke between me and Caleb where I was saying to him, oh man, every time the child catches the ball, he passes it. He doesn't want to run it back. And he did the exact same thing so many times. The ball got kicked down to him, he'll catch it. And if there's a winger close by or someone that he can pass it to, he passes. And, even the commentators are like, oh, I wish Latrell had sort of ran the ball back because he only had like one guy, which he probably could have
Yeah.
stepped Rocket Berry or whoever that had sort of run down. But he always passes it. And that sort of brings into question things
Mm.
like his commitment, his heart really in the game? There's too much stuff
Off the
happening in
and I think
Latrell's
it's
head at the
hard. Like I
moment.
don't know if
That's
it's
you know,
that's the thing. Like he is a superstar, and they keep talking about he's bigger than the game, and I think he does so much outside of the game that he brings attention to himself. Just bad stuff, but also good stuff for the community and that. But yeah, when you talk passes, I mean that
mm,
little pass that he got off that went to Paul Thompson, that first try, that was a Latrell touch.
yeah,
And yeah, I don't know what happened there. It just looked like the Warriors were just clocked off because the same happens later after the Warriors score. Latrell does a similar tip on. Whiten gets through a gap, and then Tutu Paul comes, and I guess the Warriors kind of just their urgency. You just see that body language change. So that was cool to just see them adjust to what had happened earlier, and that's kind of what the first half ended up being was just them because it was in the balance kind of in that middle 30 minutes. They just kind of was a lot of back and forth. There were opportunities. Um, yeah, and then up until that little the elbow, or not little, Latrell. I don't. Yeah,
yeah.
it was weird to watch that game. Just the buddiness of Latrell, like just his energy. You see him quite aggro, and these kind of
Mm,
games he'd laugh at us. I don't know if just the writing's on the wall or something, but yeah, just seeing him patting guys on the
I,
back when he
I,
was getting tackled, and even that, like he knew he had stuffed up with Sean. Credit to Johnson, like he could have
mm,
milked that for like just stayed down, like because he looked like he actually got knocked out, but it obviously infected him. He kind of caught it to the ref, but he could have gone straight down and lay down like all these other players. Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I think he was
So,
kitty.
he
He was
just
probably kitty
he just
because
elbowed me.
Sean too is like
Yeah.
a poster boy for the NRL. He's been a poster boy for a few years now.
Mm.
Because of who he is and the impact that he has on the Warriors and the Kiwis. And so I think they must
I
all
know.
know each other. So when he gets the elbow in the face, he's a bit shocked, like, "Oh, ref, sorry, what is that guy?"
What did I do to you? Not my fault you playing Kaya at the moment.
Honestly, I didn't even catch it. It wasn't until
Yeah, because with the
the
play
ref had
played
sort of
on,
called
he
the
went
penalty
down.
and
Yeah.
it's like, "Oh, the bunk had reviewed it." Yeah, and I went because at first it just looked like he'd got fended in the face. And then I thought, oh yeah, and then they've reviewed it and it's an elbow, and then they
Yeah.
showed the slow mo of the replay, and I was like, Oi, suddenly there was no palm at all. It was all elbow across his chops, and I was like, and why is he still on the field? Like, honestly, any other player, like if that's a Jared Warrior-Hargreaves again, like I had to bring Jared back to these conversations whenever we talk about foul play. But with the record that Jared has, and with the type of play that he's kind of known for, if that's
Yeah,
Jared giving an
he's
elbow into
gone.
someone's
Yeah,
face,
exactly. He's
he's
walking.
off the
So
field, man.
yeah, that was, and that's yeah, like that game. I don't know. Yeah, well, it looks like he's gonna have some time on the sidelines, but after that, the Tohu Harris, that was just like awkward and
Mm,
dumb. Like everyone knows, like most players, like you don't put your hands in between the legs. And so when he kind of started tipping him, like, bro. And then and so that's kind of the two most people cite. But then the Jackson Ford try even just swings over the top of him. And I was like,
yeah,
man, if Jackson Ford drops that ball, well, what
clips him
happens
around
then?
the head.
Like, does it go as a no try and just carry on? I was like, bro, like if he doesn't score that try,
And like if the match review committee has given him 3 weeks for both incidents that were put on report, they could have still looked at that swinging arm
yeah,
after that try as something that happened during the game that they could have added to whatever evidence that they had where they came up with 3 weeks. I was like, 3 weeks?
yeah.
That is piss poor, man. And I know it ain't calling anyone monkey, but come on, bro. Like, it was rubbish. But yeah, yeah. So why I mentioned that tactic that they used against the Storm is because they used the same
Mm,
tactic against South with
yeah,
that Toots Ball.
yeah.
What's
Ford
his name?
Thompson.
Toots Ball Thompson. They used the same tactic. Like they just
Yeah,
kicked the ball, waited for him to catch it, and then they just nullify his bringing the ball back. And I was laughing because during the game I was just thinking, so this guy
yeah.
scored his
Now,
try, and then think
right,
if
yeah. There's a
Sully,
thing. The way
I've
they
done
got their
all I need
heels up
to
after
do.
that try, like, yeah, this is gonna be one of those days.
Well, he's good. Oh man! And my sister-in-law, like she likes to do the old flutter on these games, and she's like, "Oh damn it! I wanted Rocco Berry. I had Rocco Berry as first try scorer, and then Rocco scores the Warriors' first try." She's like, "Shit!"
Does she watch or she
She's like,
just
"Oh,
like
if only
flutters
he had
and like, oh,
tackled
I'm
that
gonna choose this
guy."
person? Oh
Oh
yeah.
nah, she's a
Ah, nice.
Warriors hearty, bro. That's who we
Oh
get
yeah,
our
yeah.
season passes from every year. Yeah. So I think she had one that came in. She was like, "Oh yeah, Rockberry
Go Berry.
scores either 1, 2, or 3 try. Sean Johnson anytime try scorer and Warriors to win." And I was like, "Hey!" And then it came in. I was like,
Yeah, Rocco
"Yes."
Berry's been awesome. Just like last year, he like had a little like he was talked up, being a former, All Black great son, and so it was kind of like a lot of expectancy. Then he had a few little off games, kind of in and out of the team. But man, this year he's looking the goods. Just so focused, just the way he's playing. Real impressed with him there.
Yeah, I like Rocco because he looks like someone who is whoever's coaching him or whoever's teaching him how to be
Yeah,
a rugby league centre. Like he
yeah,
looks to
yeah.
be
Lessons that
taking
like he's
those
learning.
lessons on
Like it
board.
just looks like that's what he's doing. Like,
Yeah, like he's
uh,
not rushing up out of the line. He's not, which is funny because they had Roger on the wing, and it looks like Roger hasn't played on the wing for ages because the man was rushing up out
I
the
was gonna
line.
smash
How
anybody.
many times did Tutu Ball look like he was going to gas it down the wing? And I was like, Silly Rog, don't rush up out of the line like that, bro. And like it was
They got
cool
good
that they were
scramble
able to
way. Like
celebrate his
that's one thing
200th
that
with them.
they're
And
just their
yeah,
defensive
man.
patterns. Like, yeah, that was like kind of just that's why I was saying it looked like when that first try, it was almost like it caught everyone off guard because it was like way out from the line, and then it was like, I was like, why is no one chasing him? Yeah, and then after that, just the scramble
Yeah,
after that, kind of
yeah,
like everyone just switched on. So yeah, it was almost like they hadn't gotten into their patterns or something like just that first try.
yeah. And like I've talk about like Latrell and how he the optics look like he's not really into it. He doesn't have the heart. But then you look at the rest of the South Sydney team and the way that they're playing at the moment. Like there were some of those breaks, and I think I saw it on NRL 360 where they talked about some of the breaks that the Warriors had made,
Yeah.
and all the people in some of the shots are Warriors players. Like no one pushes back on defense. No one's chasing down hardcore. Like you see those ones where it's a breakaway try, but you see the wingers. Like if AJ was there, that guy would be chasing everything down. Like I've seen Alex Johnson just run all
Yeah,
day,
right
and
to
he
the
runs, scores tries, and then he'll run. Yeah, man, and that's who epitomizes the Rabbitohs' heart in that team. And he's out injured at the moment, but like no one's kind of stepped up.
Yeah, kind of.
And is representing the South's culture of old. It's like, man, what's happened to South? Like they fall off. Like Cam Murray, I think, is the
And
only
even
one
then,
really
like I
that's
think
putting
he's
his hand up.
like him and Gloa Matangi are just giving guts. Like they're playing with heart. But I think that's what they're missing is like that. Like just trying to be like whatever the South culture is, like just really chasing things hard. Like I guess those are guys that stand up, but they always stand up. So it's really hard to see the passion. Like if you saw that come out of like just one of these other guys, like a Tane Milne, like if you saw it come out of those guys, that's when like people get on because it's like, oh yeah. But when it comes out of the same guys, which is kind of expected from, like, there's not as much impact. Whereas if people jump on the back of guys like Jackson Ford, if he starts, picking up the team, just these guys that you don't expect to do the huge plays. Yeah, and no one seems to like outside of the usual. Yeah, like looking at this roster, it's a struggle. Like, even Burgess, like, he's just being a big body, but other than that, he's not doing anything special. He's not, putting in that extra work and
Nah,
being like when
he's,
Lindsay Collins last year,
he's
just the
not.
difference he made as a prop. And
Yeah,
like, I'm just going to be busy. I'm just going to be everywhere just trying to make a difference. And that kind of brought through that. Guys want to hop, like from the Roosters, hopped on his back at the end of that season.
mm,
Yeah, and that's the kind of guys you want. Like, not the guys who are always there, but just other guys that go, yep, I'm going to try and do this for us.
yeah. And Souths don't have
Mm.
those players at the moment. They don't have the players who are gonna leave your club at the end of the year like Adam Fanua Blake, but still at the beginning of the year say, guys, this next year,
And I
this year,
think
I'm committed
Whiten
to
can be
us
that kind of
winning a
guy. Jack
championship.
Whiten, but he's new. Like, that's the thing. It's hard to get, like, I think for him, like,
Yeah,
he can be like one of those guys, but real hard to come into a place where you've come and said, I want to go to a place I'm going to win a premiership. And all of a sudden, Latrell goes out of that back line. Now everyone's looking at him like, you're going to win it for us, bro. Like, oh, hey, man, I came to be part of a team. You guys
yeah,
are all
nah,
looking at me like, oh, yeah, so you got to work with Cody Walker and make all these awesome moves for us now. Like, oh, hey, man, I came to be part of a premiership team, not trying to
yeah.
be the man and carry you guys. But that's pretty much the shining light.
Unfortunately, yeah, and unfortunately for Jack White, and he's not going to have a supporting cast with him, in Latrell or flipping Cody Walker because those two, they're confidence players,
When they're
and
up, they're up. Yeah.
they remind me of the
Mm.
Sean Johnson of old. That when they're up, they're up. You're right, like, and they play with confidence when they're moving forward. They're just scoring at will, and when you watch them in that mood, when they get in that mood, it's really great to watch because it's just
Yeah,
entertaining
yeah.
rugby league. It's all instinct plays, and those guys are just on their game and they're on fire. And then at the moment, like because they're not doing well,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
similar to the Broncos when flipping Adam Reynolds comes off. You need one of their leaders to step up and pull them out and get them across the line. At the moment, Souths don't have that. Once guys like Latrell that should be there, and are not there, and I don't know. It's really up to Latrell whether he's able to get himself out of this funk that he's in, and not read into everyone else's opinion of how he's playing or what he's doing, and just get back to basics. And that's unfortunately the thing that's going to impact Souths the most this year is Latrell and his ability to get back to basics, back to just playing rugby league, back to just
I think
doing
that's
what
the thing. It's like
he's
these gun
he's
guys,
really good at doing.
like not overtrained, but it's almost like over. Yeah, take that mongrel out of the game. Like I don't know if it's mongrel or what. Like Cody Walker, like how he was always a gun, but teams realized if you get under his skin, you can,
Yeah,
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 he'll ruck and then he
easy to
kills his
ruck up.
game. And so at the back of like last year, you saw that he adjusted that, and he was able to kind of still play a game and not let it affect him. But it's almost like it's kind of he sits in that middle ground now, and he's lost that the mongrel side that like just really goes for it. It's almost like he's like, oh, it's just a game. I shouldn't let it affect me so much. It's like, hey man, you needed to let it affect you. You need to be. It's almost like the passion part is gone, so that
Yeah,
he can manage his, the character piece where it's like just loses the game because he just can't handle the niggle. And so now he's been able to adjust the mindset, but it's almost like such a calm mindset that it's like, bro, you need that edge back. Like you need that like I kind of go for it, and I'm gonna cry if we lose, but I really want to win because it's like it's just that habit of just getting used to losing. Like oh yeah, another game.
I was reading a stat where they've lost 15 of the last 20
Wow,
games.
that's
Souths,
about since that run
and
last
so that's
when they were like
and I
coming first
remember
on the table, and then they went Kopai.
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. They were top of the table, and then they went on
Damn.
this terrible streak of losses, and then like so when you see the Aussie commentators and they're getting on the backs of Souths after 5 rounds,
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
after 5 rounds.
So,
And I remember Buzz was pointing it out to Tallis on NRL 360 was telling him, it's like we're taking it back to last year. Like the rot
yeah.
started last year, and then Sam Burgess leaving, and all of those issues that are
Mm.
not on field issues. These are all off field, and the coach. It comes down to the coach as well. And I think he's not that right coach himself. This guy, he's not gonna bring a premiership to them. But to be honest, like things started to fall off. Like the wheels fell off the wagon for South when they didn't
Yeah,
re-sign
yeah,
Reynolds. Let's
exactly.
be honest.
Yeah.
They
And they
they
had
should have
no
just
plan. Like
re-signed
they
Reynolds
just,
for
yeah,
the 3 years that he wanted. It's exactly the same with how the Warriors lost
that's
Brent
right.
Tate ages
Yeah,
ago. Tate wanted 3 years. The Warriors only
yeah.
wanted to offer him 2,
Went to the
and so
Titans and yeah.
he goes
Oh,
off to
that's
North
right, North
Queensland.
Queensland first.
Yeah, and then they end up winning a premiership like the year after, or
Mm.
whatever. Yeah, so I was like,
Yeah.
no, nah, and and then Souths are sitting there eating their gourmet last year when the Broncos make the grand final with Reynolds, and they're like,
Hey, I'm
okay,
just glad this isn't us. Like, it's a hard pill to swallow, but we've been there. Like, back pre-COVID when after 2 seasons, we were on our like fifth coach because we were having performances like
mm,
this where, you know, and that's the thing. It's easy kind of when you look at the way our team's been so consistent, and you say, "Oh, premierships aren't won in
mm,
March," but it's kind of when you can see your team doing the
nah,
right things. Doesn't matter if you're nowhere near the top, but if your team's doing the right things, then I guess that's the thing. At round five, you've got talk of Demetrio's got 80 minutes to keep his job, and so yeah, I think
mm,
it's just the pressure and it comes down to the way your team's performing, and I don't think it goes on win loss. It very much goes on what just the consistency and what you can see in terms of passion and want team week in and week out, as opposed to
yeah,
just scoreboard and winning games. Um, so yeah, it looks like a long road to recovery. And we might find out next week.
but
Yeah,
but up the
up the
wires,
wires. Like I try not to spend the whole podcast rapping them, but man, I got so much notes of just everything the guys are doing. Man, Wade Egan pushing for a blue jersey definitely has to be in the mix.
I think so.
Watching Cook,
He's probably
yeah,
one of the top 3 hookers. Yeah, yeah, like absolutely. There's probably a number of guys that they say They used to say that players came to the
to
Warriors
retire.
um,
Exactly.
to see their careers either die or to retire and make lots of money because the Warriors were paying overs to get all these players to come and play for them. But flipping heck, like the buys that they've made in the last couple of years, which haven't been many. Like Webster has pretty much
Yeah.
inherited the same team,
Just
bar a
transform these
number
players
of
like
like near
Fanua
Kore.
Blake when that
Yeah,
was probably the biggest signing
and
off the back
that's
of
all
when
he's
he had
done.
that massive season for Manly. And he's been one of our best buys, I reckon. Just that professionalism he's brought and maintained too. Like he had a little bit of a drop in that first season back, but other than that, like he's pretty much just carried on where he left off from Manly.
Yeah, like his game really picked up when they gave him the captaincy in that COVID year.
Yeah,
Like
that's right.
they made him captain, and then
Yeah,
he was playing out of his
yeah,
skins, man. I was like, whoa,
yeah,
look at how much captaincy impacts this guy's play. Like he was
yeah.
turning up week in, week out. Because remember we had that flipping guy. What was that guy that came over from Broncos and then
Uh
he went to the Roosters and we were
yes,
still paying his salary. I've forgotten his name. But like, we had that guy who everyone was
yeah.
sort of
I
going,
know.
hey, we don't need this guy. We've got sort of Adam. And then Adam was still doing what Adam does, but then he left and Tohu came back from his injury, got the captaincy back. But Adam's
Yeah,
level stayed super consistent, super high. And man, you could see how happy he was playing last year, and that's the cool thing that I've enjoyed about watching the Warriors this year is that they've been able to
yeah,
maintain that
yeah.
consistency. And like I was saying earlier, their best games and their worst games so far this
Mm,
season have been super close, and so that's what you want to see in the teams that you support. Is that
yeah,
they're consistent because they'll if they keep that up, then they'll be able to go deep into the
yeah.
season.
Just exciting to see our team just play the way they're playing. Awesome to see Nickel Klokstad back. Me and Sai had a little rant about RTS and Klokstad, but oh, seeing
Mm,
what Klokstad, like even the commentators were getting confused who was Klokstad and Roger. He's got that same run, that same step.
mm,
Um, so yeah, safe there. Like we're safe. Like I said, like no one can keep Roger out of fullback other than Adam Pompey. Like Adam needs to play better for Roger not to be a centre. Roger signed as a centre and he'll play as our centre. And I think that's the thing. Like the way we play, because we've got so much attack zones. Like and everything was working
mm,
last year, so it makes sense. Like yeah, why would you break what Clockstart did last year? And if that's our game plan, now we're just adding more strike with Roger. And it kind of showed when he played
mm.
last week and the week before. Had an outstanding game at centre with Torpiki doing well at the back. And so, yeah, I think we're still yet to see a complete team and the depth. I'm so glad, like, yeah, looking at the roster early in the season, I was like, man, it's a waste. We got all these good names. Like, we just got all these guys on the bench, kind of fine. Like, starters from last year struggling to make the 18. I'm like, oh man, like that's
Yeah,
and
like
yeah,
those are good
and it
headaches
goes to
to have,
show like
coaches.
Bunty, getting a start. He played the edge, I think, when he started. Like, because Barnett, oh no, Barnett played on the edge and he came in the center. Yeah, so, seeing guys like Bunty, I
Mm,
guess hats off to him. Like that just shows, like getting to start just shows your hard work. With the roster we've got, so yeah, real good headache to have. And with the injuries we've been getting to, like it's nice to be able to have that cover. Like Metcalf's a huge out for us. But having Chanel last week and then Tamaide this week, it was yeah, yeah, I can see why Andrew Webster's such a good coach. Like just that foresight to have so much, and like we didn't buy
mm,
much, but just who we kept and who we let go. Like Curran was a huge loss, like you said. He's been huge for the doggies, but we kept enough of the great ones, and some of these young players coming through. Um, Laban, awesome to see his debut. Like, and he ran well. He
mm.
had an awesome game. Um,
Yeah, they've got good depth coming through with young guys. There's still guys like
That's right.
Ed
Yeah.
Corsi, who they're doing really well in the reserve grade.
Yeah.
Ali Leatawa,
Yeah.
that's
It's his
Ali
nephew.
Sautiti's
Yeah.
nephew. Like, yeah, that's his sister's son. They like those guys are doing really well in reserve grade. There was one match I think where they got absolutely smoked by the top of the table team. But what's good about seeing guys like Bunty and Tom Ale even still being there, like you could be like Lomax and you see someone sign in into your position for the new year, and then you could
Yeah.
get all
Yeah.
salty and then want to leave. So Tom Ale and Bunty seeing like names, Mitch Barnett come in, or then they sign Neil
Exactly. And
Kore,
just
who can
seeing all
also play
these
front
others,
row,
like,
and then it's like,
yeah, I might go
uh,
look for a contract to
yeah,
just
you could
my
get
manager
salty.
start getting things
Yeah,
in order.
exactly. It's like, hey, I want to play NRL and I'm not getting the minutes, so can you, have a look around?
Mm.
You could get those kind of players that you do get in other clubs. They don't get the
Yeah.
minutes that
And
they
just
want in
go.
the NRL, and then they start having these conversations with their agent to move them, and then you get that
That's
transfer
right.
window that
Yeah.
NRL now has, where players
Start
are
having a
like
few
looking to jump
conversations.
ship. But yeah, hard out. But the Warriors have got young guys coming through, but they've also got young guys and really committed people, especially in that forward pack. Like, and Adam Pompey's probably a really
Yeah.
good example.
Exactly.
Like Roger coming back, Pompey
Yeah.
could have easily gone,
Fully
oh, you know
come.
what? What, Chanel's coming back too? It's like, oh, Chanel's coming back. Roger's going to come back. They're already talking about him starting. It's like, silly. I
Yeah. I
played
know, right?
every game
And
in
yeah, and I think
2023,
that's the thing. Like,
and
I
nobody's.
think, like you're saying, it's positive to see them staying, but even more positive must be the message they're getting. But what they're seeing is that I want to be here. Like the same reason Jack Wyden thought he was going to the Rabbits.
Yeah,
I can see something building here, and I want to be here for it.